Today we're going to talk about the terrifying, mystical, and sometimes misunderstood supernatural creatures that lurk in the shadows of Beacon Hills. But before you breathe easy and assume this is just another typical monster list, let me warn you, this is not for the faint of heart. These creatures aren't just spooky bedtime stories or Halloween legends. In Teen Wolf, they hunt, they kill, they manipulate, and sometimes they even fall in love. Remember that time something crawled into Stiles' mind and twisted his soul into a chaos-bringing demon? Or that moment when an innocent-looking girl turned out to be an ancient fox spirit with lightning in her hands? Yeah, this show didn't just invent monsters, it made them feel real. The deeper we go, the darker it gets. Some of these beings feed on fear, others feed on pain, and a few, they are pain. So buckle up, because by the end of this story, you might find yourself looking twice at your best friend. What if they're hiding fangs? Or worse, a tail? Welcome to TV series. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on the notifications bell for more videos. You don't want to miss what comes next because what we're diving into today might just keep you up tonight. Let's get into the darkness that shaped every character in Teen Wolf, one monster at a time. Let's begin with the werewolves. Of course, they're the backbone of the series. But not all werewolves are the same. From beta to alpha to the rare and legendary true alpha, each one comes with power levels, bloodlines, and rules that can make or break a pack. Scott McCall, our golden-hearted hero, became a werewolf in Season 1, but his transformation wasn't just physical, it was emotional. How do you deal with super hearing and super smell when you can barely survive high school? Worse, imagine transforming in the middle of chemistry class. Awkward, right? But even scarier than the changes were the enemies that came next. Speaking of enemies, how about the kanima? Remember Jackson? 1 second, he's the brooding jock with a bad attitude, and the next, he's crawling on walls with paralyzing claws and a thirst for vengeance. The kanima isn't just a shapeshifter, it's a creature born out of emotional trauma. Controlled by a master, it kills without question. The scariest part? You may never even see it coming until you're paralyzed and staring into its reptilian eyes. Then there's the banshee. Sweet, beautiful Lydia Martin, genius in math, queen of fashion, and oh yeah, she screams when someone is about to die. But her banshee powers weren't just a gimmick, they were terrifying. Imagine hearing the death cries of strangers, friends, or even your own family before anything happens. The world becomes one long, suspenseful scream. Lydia didn't choose to be a banshee, but fate certainly chose her, dragging her into blood and mystery whether she was ready or not. But let's crank the fear up a notch, and talk about the nogitsunes. Trickster, chaos spirit, shadow master. When Stiles was possessed, he wasn't just creepy, he was horrifying. The nogitsunes thrived on chaos, pain, and fear. He manipulated the pack, set deadly traps, and turned Beacon Hills into a nightmare playground. And the worst part? It all looked like Stiles. Can you imagine your best friend grinning at you while stabbing you in the back? Literally? Just when things couldn't get more unpredictable, enter Kira Yukimura, the Thunder Kitsune. A supernatural fox with electricity crackling at her fingertips. Kira was new, cute, and kind. But when threatened, she turned into a storm. Her kitsune powers were tied to Japanese mythology, and her inner fox spirit sometimes acted with a mind of its own. Lightning-fast swordplay, sparks flying from her eyes, and the ability to fight Oni? Yeah, she was not someone you wanted to mess with. Now, let's talk about those Oni, demonic masked warriors that served as ancient supernatural enforcers. Silent, cold, deadly. When the Oni arrive, the room goes dark, literally. Their entrance always signaled a turning point. Either someone was about to be tested, or possessed. They didn't speak, but they didn't need to. Their glowing eyes and blade-like katanas did the talking. And let's be honest, nothing makes your heart stop like watching your favorite character being surrounded by Oni shadows. But the mythology doesn't stop there. Let's throw in the Dread Doctors, the steampunk-inspired horror show that walked straight out of a twisted sci-fi nightmare. These weren't just doctors. They experimented on people, turning them into supernatural hybrids called chimeras. Some had wings, others had claws, some were invisible, and most of them died gruesomely. If the nogitsune was psychological horror, the Dread Doctors were surgical terror. Remember Theo Reiken? He was the perfect example of a chimera. A hybrid with both werewolf and kanima DNA, Theo was charismatic, manipulative, and more dangerous than most villains combined. He smiled while plotting murder. Honestly, you could call him the teenage version of Loki with a six-pack. Then we had the Hellhound, a creature made of fire, vengeance, and destiny. Parrish, the deputy with glowing eyes and spontaneous combustion issues, was revealed to be a harbinger of death. A hellhound is not a monster, it's a force of nature. Try stopping fire with your fists. You can't. The Ghost Riders from Season 6? Oh boy, they redefined supernatural horror. They didn't just kill you, they erased you from existence. No memories, no gravestones, not even a Facebook status. Gone. If you saw them, it was already too late. The concept of being forgotten by everyone you love? That's scarier than death itself. And let's not forget some of the rarer creatures sprinkled across the series like hidden gems. Wendigos, cannibalistic beasts with endless hunger. You wouldn't want to be stuck in a room with one unless you're craving a death-by-chewing experience. Skinwalkers, Native American spirits that could transform and torment. Then there was the Beast of Gavaudan, the ultimate werewolf, massive, ancient, and nearly impossible to kill. Still reading, still breathing. Good. Because now's the time to ask, what made Teen Wolf's supernatural world so addicting? Was it the mystery? The constant suspense? The way every creature had a backstory and every backstory made you rethink everything? Teen Wolf didn't just give us monsters. It gave us reasons for monsters. It asked, what if your trauma turned you into a killer? What if your grief made you scream like a banshee? What if your loneliness summoned lightning, or your pain fed a trickster demon? It made the supernatural feel human. And maybe that's the scariest part of all. Because in Beacon Hills, anyone can be a monster. Even you. Okay, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Please like, share, and subscribe for more. And remember, the next time your friend zones out during class, or your lights flicker without reason, just ask yourself, are they just tired? Or is something awakening? Stay safe out there. Beacon Hills isn't the only place with secrets.